Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. Today I'm going to be making a delicious batch of blueberry flaky buns. Now these delicious blueberry flaky buns is ones that both of us, myself and Raymond, enjoyed as children growing up here in Newfoundland and Labrador. And of course you can still buy them now here in Newfoundland and Labrador, but I'm not certain if they're for sale in other places. So if that recipe interests you and you like to know what I'm talking about and to make some of yours, stick around and let's get started. So what I'm going to be adding into my saucepan is a 1/4 cup of cold water and a 1/4 cup of white sugar, but you could use sugar of choice. This is for the blueberry sauce. I got 2 cups of frozen blueberries, ones that we picked there last year here in Newfoundland and Labrador. Of course, I've told you about that in previous videos. I picked them and Raymond eats them as they go. 2 tablespoons.
I like sitting on the rock.
You like going and having that lunch, that picnic out there. 2 tablespoonfuls of cornstarch or flour, and I'm going to say flour of choice. Now we're going to get this starting to cook. Put it on my stove top. So I got the blueberries over on my stove top on a medium heat, and we'll get back and forth there stirring that. I'll show you what that looks like when we get to that stage. 2 cups of all-purpose flour. You could have whatever flour of choice. I'm going to say what you like to have. We got about 1/2 cup of shortening, and you can use whatever type of shortening you got in your stores there to buy. Could be Crisco, could be flaky, could be whatever. It's just a shortening. And what I'm going to do first is use my pastry chopper and just break that all in together. So after you've done that, you're going to take 1/2 teaspoonful of sea salt, and we're going to just mix that in lightly. So we're making the pastry here now, and this pastry is really nice and flaky. And also after we make it, we need to put it in the fridge either for a few hours or overnight, whatever you could do. I think I got all the shells there. So 1 egg and 2 tablespoonfuls of cold water, mixing it together, and a tablespoonful of white vinegar. We're just going to mix that in and then toss that in with the ingredients for the pastry. Pretty much all you're going to do now is mix that wet ingredients in with your flour and shortening. I'm going to take it off the fork. Now I'm going to use my hand and just bring it into a ball. Continue mixing it through and bringing it into a ball. So what I'm going to do now is toss that out onto my countertop, and I'm going to continue forming it into a ball. And then I'm going to get myself 2 pieces of clear wrap. I'm going to cut this ball into 2 pieces, makes it easier for rolling, and put it in some clear wrap because we're going to be putting it in the fridge. So before we get back to the pastry, this is the sauce, what we're looking at. And what I'm going to do is put it into a mason jar, because I'm going to let it come to room temperature. And usually what I do is make this overnight and then have it in the fridge so that it's nice and cold to use as a filling. And that's all you need to do there. And put the lid on and it's good to go. Now back to the pastry. First I'm going to give Raymond this spoon because you know he's going to want to clean up here for me today.
Oh, this brings me back to days of blueberry
picking or eating?
Eating.
Blueberry eating, guys. You know he wasn't in there picking blueberries. So cut the pastry in half like this, and then take 2 pieces of clear wrap And just put the pastry into like this and just tap down on it a little just to flatten it, and we'll do it again with the second piece. Okay, so I kind of cleaned up a little bit in between. So this is flattened. Now I'm going to take the two pieces that I already got here in the fridge. So I'm going to put that there, take out the two pieces, and when it's ardent like this, it makes for a flakier crust, of course. So now what I'm going to do is roll this out, and we're going to cut it in pieces, and I'll tell you how big. I'm going to lightly dust my board. Lightly dust a little bit more than I would, but that's okay. Then I'm going to put the pastry down on it, press it on both sides, and now I'm going to roll it. So we're pretty much going to roll this out to about 1/4 of an inch, a little bit bigger than it would be for your pie. And don't mind if it's crumbling a little bit on you. We're going to piece all that back together because I got to cut it to about 2 by 2 or 3 by 3. Depends what size you would like for your flaky buns. I'm going to grab a knife. So pretty much what I'm going to do now is just cut off the edges because I want for it to look a little bit fair. And so we cut off the edges like this, and we'll say whoops to that, and cut it there. So this is probably going to be more maybe 2 to 3 in depth. But like you said, you decide what size of a flaky bun that you want. And what I'm going to do is put it over here onto this pan, cover it with parchment paper. These is probably going to be all different sizes, but that's okay. So I'm going to dust my board again, and I took all of the pieces of that pastry and put it together again so we can roll it out to make the last few on the one side. And again, 1/4 of an inch, then cut out the size that you would like for your flaky bun. Like I said, I get all different sizes. The flaky bun that we used to get years ago was big. I think it was probably 4 by 4, Raymond, would you say?
Definitely.
Yeah, like in size. But I really think as an adult, I really don't want to sit down and consider that my dessert and have a 4 by 4 flaky bun, which is it's
A 2 by 2 is good, and that way then if he wants the second one,
yeah, you can always go back for it.
Or
Yes.
the third one.
So you decide, and when we get to the finished project, you would see what I mean by that. And these are so delicious. They're actually Moorish, so if anyone else out there has had these before, you're going to agree it's hard to just have one. And again, simple to make. The ones we used to get years ago, I think it was probably raspberry in it, but I like the blueberry, and I got lots of blueberries left over from last year. So now I'm going to roll the other ball, and then I'll tell you what to do next. So whatever size you want to make your pastries, again, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, or bigger, 4 by 4, that's fine too. Make sure you got equal amount because you need one for the bottom, one for the top in order to make this. So now what I'm going to do is preheat my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and when it's ready, put these in there for 15 to 20 minutes, only till they start to get a light golden brown, and then we'll take it out and bring it to room temperature. But what we're going to do next is make a cream cheese icing for this delicious blueberry flaky bun as well. So we're going to be using here 1 pack of cream cheese. I got the light cream cheese because it's softer. If you don't have that one, just leave it out at room temperature for about, I would say, an hour or so. This is a 1/2 cup of butter or margarine. and a teaspoonful of vanilla. Now I'm going to mix this together a little bit, and that's 250 grams of cream cheese. So that's the cream cheese and the butter mixed together with the vanilla. And I got 3.5 cups of confectionery sugar. We're just going to gradually put this in there and mix it together because I don't want for it to go all up over Raymond's camera and clothes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Gotta look out for him, you know. And that's all we need to do there. Just look at the lovely mess I got on my countertop. Now, that's all you need to do there. When you get it to that consistency, this delicious cream cheese icing is made. Our flaky pastries are baked. I'm going to pull them out of the oven and I'm going to set them on my counter and let them come to a room temperature. I'll show you what they look like. And as you can see, they're a little bit all different sizes. They're nice and golden brown on the bottom. Top is a little lighter, but that's okay. You'll see the filling goes there. And each one of them got a partner so we can pair them together. So now let's get filling these delicious pastries. So I'm going to switch out my blueberry filling because I made one last night that I'll use instead of this one. Because that one is still a bit warm, and this one here is now, as you can see, sealed and ready to go. Now this blueberry filling as well is good for your toast. It's good if you want to put it on top of some ice cream, or you know, just having it, I guess, on little crackers. So what you would do first is put some blueberry filling on one side of that flaky pastry. I'll just place it there in the plate. Then I'm going to take this other pastry and take some of that delicious cheesecake filling, well, cheesecake icing, put on this side and put it on the top. Now that is your blueberry flaky bun. And then just top it with a little tiny bit of confectionery sugar, and that will just kind of dazzle it a little tiny bit. Of course, golden brown on the bottom. The lighter side, put your blueberry filling. And if you don't want to make blueberry filling, if you don't have access to blueberries, you make whatever berries you got available. If you want to do the raspberry one, I was saying, if you wanted to make a raspberry filling, same method, just put it, follow that one the same as I did with the blueberries. And that's it. Good as it gets. Yum. So you know it's a difficult day for us because Raymond is finding it very hard not to eat this blueberry sauce. And
I'm just great that you haven't put somewhere out of my sight.
and I found myself just wanting to do the same, of course. And so just drizzle it, a little bit of that confectionery sugar, and that's it. As good as it gets. And I hope that these little delicious blueberry flaky buns remind you as well of your childhood days.
And blueberry picking.
And blueberry picking. I got all of my might not to be able to take one of these out now and have it, but I got a feeling I'm going to have blueberries all over my jacket. My teeth is going to be all blueberries, but I'm going to tell you, they are absolutely delicious. And I'm going to crack one of these flaky pastries. They are so flaky, and that's what it's about. It's about having the flaky versus the blueberry sauce. I'm going to show you this. See how lovely it looks. Now every time you bite into this, it will flake like this, and that's the way those little flaky buns used to be when we were kids. And of course your fingers, your mouth, everything will be just either blue or red depending on what berry is inside. So delicious. Just top topping it with some more of that confectionery sugar. So if you like these little blueberry flaky buns, I can't wait for you to make them. Our recipe is going to be posted in under this video link. It's either a see more or an arrow pointing down. If you can't find it there, you can go to our website and print it from there. That's www.bonitaskitchen.com. You can also visit us on our Facebook page. You could send me a message at bonitakitchen@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. And as well, right here, hit the subscribe. And each time we post a new video, you will get a notification. And we can't wait for you to try those recipes. Raymond's laughing at me because he knows I'm waiting. I'm so waiting to have one of those buns, and I'm sorry that I'm not having one on the show because I know I'd love to show you what it's like.
I could always get your toothbrush.
I know that the pastry is extra crispy and flaky, and I love that, delicious. But I know I'm not tackling that blueberry. So on that note, we know your time is precious, and we thank you for sharing a little bit of it with us here today. On behalf of myself, Raymond, and our team here at Bonita's Kitchen, we'd like to thank each and every one of you for stopping by. From our kitchen to yours, and you have a wonderful day. If you're here in Newfoundland and Labrador, don't forget to visit beautiful Bay Roberts and join us again on Bonita's Kitchen. 2 thumbs up.
Join us by the sea, a journey in culinary, always an open door. Bonita's Kitchen to yours, Bonita's Kitchen.